Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jumper. Today I'll be reviewing LEGO DC Super Villains, which was released back in 2018 for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Now, the main plot of this game is that a team called the Justice Syndicate has kidnapped the Justice League and is up to DC's villains to basically stop them. And at the beginning of the game, you are introduced to a character that you can customize, and they have their own abilities that you find out along the way of the game. And yeah, I think the main plot is somewhat interesting because it basically starts out with your character sort of being helped out to get out of prison by the help of Lex Luthor, and then you happen to stumble across more villains like the Joker, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Reverse Flash, and various other DC villains that has been seen throughout DC comics, movies, TV shows, that sort of thing. And I think it's a good and interesting game because it feels like a Suicide Squad comic, like something that's been out from from a comic or something along the nature, because it feels like very comic booky, because you don't really see this sort of thing, because you don't see a story like this. And yeah, and the reason why I think it's like a Suicide Squad movie is because it's apart from all the villains teaming up, it's got that Suicide Squad feel to it, because you've got all these villains having being forced to team up in order to stop this Justice Syndicate from ruling over the world, or just whatever they're doing. And I feel like these ragtag bunch of villains are some of I think the way they talk to each other are really good, because of you'll be with one villain 1 minute, and then you'll be with several other villains the next. So I really think that that's why I think this feels like a Suicide Squad movie, and it feels like a better one than the one that was released back in 2016. So yeah, and you do get to meet a variety of characters. So you meet the Joker, you meet Harley Quinn, you meet Lex Luthor, and I feel like they all fit, like the way they're written. Every single character feels unique. None of them feels the same, because you've got Lex Luthor, a mad, not really mad genius, but like a sort of a hyper genius. You've got Harley Quinn and the Joker, two laughing people who commit crimes and just causes chaos because they're Harley Quinn and the Joker. You've got Reverse Flash, a guy who's basically just the Flash, but he's wearing a yellow suit, and so on and so forth. And I think that's really cool because and in the overworld, you can basically just if you want to go from one place to the other, you do that. And I think that the overworld kind of connects really well to the story, because at the beginning you basically start off at the prison, but then later on you see the Justice League, and then you see them fighting some of the villains, and then they confront the Justice Syndicate, and then so on and so forth. You have to try and beat that syndicate. And now it's time for some gameplay. So, like in LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2, you can, whenever the game's loading, you'll see the whole of the map on the loading screen. You can basically just turn around and just make it larger or bigger, or bigger or smaller. I meant to say bigger or smaller. And you can basically just turn it around and see all the stuff that you can go to, and all the stuff that you can access, whether you're in a level or not. So if you're not, let's say, playing one of the many levels in the game, you can basically just go around the game or the main world and just basically see what you can do within the game. So yeah, and the loading does take a bit to put you into the main game of it. kind of wished it was a bit faster. Or maybe that's just like the Switch version. And maybe it's like the loading time's faster. Maybe in the Xbox and PlayStation 4 versions. Maybe I'm not too sure. So these are some of the villains that you can play as. With the one on the far right as your own character that you can play as. So as you can see, these guys have various abilities. So I'm not too sure who this guy is, but it's like he's like well good with a bow and arrow, and this is my character that the character you can customize. He can like just do this and that sort of stuff, and you can basically just so right now this is just the kind of the beginning of the story, and yeah, you can basically just do whatever you want. So let's say, so right now I think we're at the Legion of Doom, so that's where we are. And yeah, and as you can see by the marker there, that indicates how far away the next level is. And like in every other Lego game, like Lego Marvel Superheroes, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, you'll have these things called ghost studs, which are basically studs that you can that you can see but can't get, but can get if you get a specific element or stud cheat thing. And it can also help out people around the world. So they might ask you to get a specific item, or have you take certain pictures or whatever, depending on the game you're in. So I think that's quite cool and interesting, because like you can basically just do a bunch of stuff before getting into like the next level and that sort of stuff. And if you press the X button, you can get up the roster of characters. So there are some characters that you can get, like from like level like automatically. So, and some characters you can only get once you're out of the level. So as you just saw, I just bought Batgirl, and I can't get anyone else. Like I can't get Nightwing, who's 250, because I just used the stats I had to get for Batgirl. And you can also switch between characters, and that means you can also use those characters' abilities. So for Batgirl, she can glide and around, use like batarangs, that sort of thing. Yeah, and that sort of thing. And I think that's quite cool, because then you can basically just mix and match on how you want to like use different characters' abilities and how you want to use them. And also for the levels, if you choose like in free play mode, I could try on getting. Okay, it doesn't look like I can pick a level from the menu, but with like each level, you can basically choose a character that might be specific for a level. So, for example, there might be a character that might be able to glide across a certain part of the game, like Batwoman can, and there might be a character that might need to use their powers to sense specific things, like use their senses in a way, and that sort of stuff. So I think that's really quite cool and interesting, and how you can use different characters and use their abilities and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's like a really cool way. And yeah, so these are the characters I've gotten so far. There's not really a lot, because I've started the game, and I haven't really gotten that far into the story. But it's still like an interesting story, just because of how you can of how the Justice Syndicate have kidnapped the Justice League, and they want to try and take over the world, and the generic supervillain archetype of, oh, I want to take over the world, and that sort of stuff. So this must be like the main no, okay, so here's the main thing. So this is like part of it, or one part of it, this, and the other part this is another part of it, and you can basically just go between the two. And yeah, and that's been it for the gameplay. Now it's time to go back to the review. So, as I said at the beginning of the game, you can create your own character, and I feel like that's one of the few things that LEGO games seem to do, and I feel like they should do more often, because with this new character that you can create and customize, he basically starts off having just, you can basically, one of the powers you can have, you can have him have speed super fast, or have him hold a weapon, that sort of thing. But then later on you find out that he can absorb powers and take them as his own. And I feel like that's a good way to bring in a character and sort of help him interact with the rest of the other characters that you might see along the way. So you might be talking to the Joker in one level, and then in the next level you might be talking to Reverse Flash, and that sort of thing. And you also get to team up with some of them and help them get to one area. So, for example, at the beginning of the game, in order to get to where the Justice Syndicate's world, from where they came from, so the other parallel world or whatever plane of existence, in terms of DC continuity and parallel worlds and stuff like that, the first Flash, your own character, and several other villains have to go to this sort of dimensional gate thing. I can't clearly remember. I haven't been in a while. And they basically have to go to the other world where the Justice Syndicate say they're from, and you have to basically. And I think that's a good idea, because and a good way to help you just explore the world some more, because in every single other game that's released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox, Switch, you've got this big open world to explore, so you can not only go to the next part of the story, but also go out into the world and basically just do various puzzles, collect certain characters, replay certain missions, and just do a lot of stuff that you might do in other LEGO games, like LEGO Marvel Superheroes, Marvel Superheroes 2, and maybe a few other LEGO games. And I think that's really cool and interesting, because this world is new. It's not in LEGO Marvel Superheroes 1, you're just going around New York and just doing things that a superhero might do in New York. You're in Gotham. In this game, in Gotham, then you have to go to a prison, and then you have to go to all this other stuff that I've seen from different DC comics. And yeah, so for my final verdict of the game, I feel like this is an interesting game. This feels completely different to the normal LEGO games that we've seen before. Because you don't really see or really play from the villain's perspective. The only way I can sort of link this to an older LEGO game is in LEGO Batman, in which you not only play as Batman and Robin, but you can also play as some of the villains, so the Penguin, the Joker, Clayface, Batwoman. Not Batwoman, Catwoman. I'm here to say Catwoman, and just all of those villains from Batman's Rogue Gallery that you can play. And I feel like that's a really cool way. And I feel like there should be more sort of LEGO games that have the idea of you playing as some of either DC's villains, Marvel's villains, or other comic book villains that we have gotten to know and love throughout the years. So yeah, so it's an interesting game, and I think it's a really cool and interesting idea to bring in DC's villains and see everything from their point of view. So yeah, so that's been my review for LEGO DC Super Villains. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.